When I originally started doing this series here of It's a Family Affair, I was originally trying to tap into a younger energy, like the younger generations. I don't know, say from like, say 16 up until, I don't know, let's say age of 20, 22, them ages. That's the kind of intentions that I was setting, aiming for change for the next generation, because I see a lot, just say that. So anyway, my first reading that I did for the series would have been called Mature, Open, Honest Communication. I tapped into the energy of a young air energy. When I done that reading, it revealed a lot. You would have to go back to watch it, but it revealed a young air sign wanting to heal a relationship with a mothering figure, an empress energy within her life, within his life, sorry, or her life, depends on how you look at it. And within that reading, I picked up on the energy of the empress as the mothering figure, but the thing is, I couldn't take my mind off of the empress energy that came up within that reading. She was at the bottom of the deck also. No, not in that reading. So anyway, I knew I was going to do another reading on the empress's energy because it was just troubling me. So anyway, done her reading, and it was a reading of warning. So now I know why I couldn't take my energy off of her energy. There was a warning message that came out that she needed to seek refuge within her solitude. Literally, that's what I titled it. So if you're interested, you could go back and look at that one. They're quite lengthy reads, but they're detailed, very detailed. Again, at that point, whilst I was doing that reading, I realized then what was happening. I didn't understand the tapping into that particular energy to start with, because this energy was nudging me now for at least a month. But because of all that was going on within my own life, with busy schedules, New Year's, the holiday seasons, all of this and all of that, I didn't hear the calling. I ignored it for a while, stubborn like that, Taurus energy. But eventually I knew I was going to have to sit down and pay attention, so I did, and this is how this series started. So anyway, anyone who knows me knows, it's been around 2 to 3 years now. I haven't even watched TV. Don't watch it no more. I don't really look at the media to that. I do and I don't. I do because I have to know the world we're living in. But anyway, then I knew that I was going to make this a kind of series. That's what I was being nudged to. I was being nudged to tap into this energy that I'm picking up on now. I still didn't get it. So anyway, after that reading, the Emperor was at the bottom of the deck. So then I knew at this point I was going to tap into the Emperor's energy in regards to where he stood in the reading, and of the energy of It's a Family Affair, Holy Trinity. At this point, I started to understand now that this is a family affair. This was about father, mother and child, the healing of father, mother and child. And this stemmed back, according to all the readings that I did, it stemmed back to not only biblical times in that series of the readings of the energy that I'm tapping into right now. It also stemmed back before then to the Greek times as well, according to the cards that I was using. If you go back and look at the reading, so then I saw the similarity in where the energy was bringing me to. It was bringing me to foundation healing. It was bringing me to that nothing happens for a reason. There's always a silver lining to a dark cloud. If we just go back and go within ourselves and look within where it's leading us to, in order to tap into the energy that needs to be changed. You can't really hear the karmic energy reading that I did in the previous series of It's a Family Affair, Holy Trinity. Is the reason why I'm going to make this video, because in that video there was an energy of the Emperor. Because things wasn't working out with the Empress, went back to a community where he began to, or continued exploiting a young female or a young person that he was left in charge of. There's a reading up now called War Between Friends. That kind of explains the after part to the karmic reading. I believe I might even break down the karmic reading within that reading also. But there was a lot going on within the Empress's life, and that's the reason why she needed to seek refuge within solitude. She needed to take a long, hard look at the life that she was living and all of this and all of that. She made that decision, and within Friends at War, the Empress again was now at the bottom of the deck. So I then tapped into the Empress's energy, which would be the last reading up before this one. And when I tapped into the Empress's energy, I realized that it was the end of that series. It was the end of whatever that energy was trying to show. It was now moving into a new cycle. So this Empress now is moved into a new cycle. And then I done a reading today. The reading didn't record, I couldn't get it up, but the most I can do is break it down. I'm going to break it down. I wrote it down. So I was going to name the reading Warning or Alibi. It's a warning or it's an alibi. Yeah, because it was about a shock attack. It was a shock attack after the Empress moves on from the Emperor in the previous series of This is a Family Affair, Holy Trinity, Father, Mother and Child. The Emperor was showing signs of jealousy, envy, idle gossip, immature. It was just a lot of gossip. He was making up a lot of rumors. There was the card that came out was media. He was like sending messages and having communication with the mature man, idly spreading gossip. There was an energy around this mature man needing not to believe the idle gossip, especially from somebody who carries so much bitterness within them. This person was the Emperor coming back because the situation that he was in, that third party situation from the previous series of It's a Family Affair, hadn't worked out for him. He had to make a choice on the return of a friend that came back from recovery. He had to make a decision to either fix up or man up or ship out kind of energy. It was almost like an ultimatum, no other choice but to take care of this young feminine energy, but there was manipulation and all of that. He basically had to relive that karmic cycle all over again because there was no lessons being learned in the situation where he is concerned, but where the Empress took time to go into isolation and reflect and look at the situation and want more, set her boundaries more for herself. That cycle had ended for her, so now she's ready to move on, new cycle. In the reading that I did, and even the reading that's up now about the mirroring energy, this Empress had found a twin flame match, somebody who she was mirroring, somebody who she'd had a lot more in common with, spiritually, and even down to the energy of the historical energy between the two of them. There's some kind of energy between the two of them, between the mature man and the mature female. Is the reason why this is down, because I'm getting ready to do this reading now. I want to just simplify the reading. In the last reading I did, the card that came out was Simplify. It reminded me of a British game show that comes on called the Cube, which is some of the tasks that you have to get through in order to win money are difficult, but you've got an option to simplify it. So I'm going to simplify it with this reading here. I'm going to break down the energies a lot more clearly, because within the last reading there was a lot going on for the mature man and there was a lot going on for the mature woman, but this is a union that was going to come into, well, this was a connection that was going to come into union. Like, I tried to ignore the energy of this person coming in with a shock attack, but as much as I tried to ignore it, the more it came through. So that's why I said warning or alibi, warning or alibi. It's a warning for somebody or an alibi for somebody. But the thing is, I couldn't get the reading out, it didn't record. But part of the reason why I said I want to come back and do this reading again, I want to see if there's any similar energy that come out into this. Yeah, again, I spoke about the dark male in the reading of Friends at War. Well, in the reading that I did today, Shock Attack, that dark male came back up again. He came back up again as a kind of detour energy coming towards the Empress, as a kind of energy to manipulate and lure the Empress away, in the kind of way of saying that somebody needs help, thinking that the Empress is going to say, you know, they're willing to help because of the nature of the Empress then. But it's a shock attack. It's a warning to the Empress that you have to just, it's not your monkey, it's not your circus, whatever the situation is. In this situation, not in all cases, but in this situation, if this readings resonate with you, if something don't feel right, don't do it. Follow your intuition. There's a need for you to follow your intuition in something. If a strange person comes to you physically and needs help and you're unaware of it, bear these readings in mind. There's a shock attack from this Emperor energy that's feeling jealous right now, envious right now, idle gossiping and all of that. I felt that energy strong within the reading, very strong within the reading. No matter how much I tried to ignore it, it just kept coming back up in different decks that I was using throughout that reading. So that was a warning message. Maybe it just wasn't meant to get out there yet. So maybe it's something that's not actually happening yet, or maybe I just wasn't meant to get that reading out. But I'm just recapping. It's like a surprise visit. Like, you might just see, I don't even want to scare anybody, but you have to just be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings. There's like a surveillance energy up, whether it's surveillance within the home, whether it's surveillance around the home, whether it's a need for you to put surveillance up and around the home. There's a need for that. Prevention is better than cure, for sure. What I've come to see throughout all of the readings that I've done throughout the series, and what the energies that I picked up in the reading that I was unable to record today, and what I'm just picking up on just pre-shuffling through this energy now here again, there's an energy to heal the foundations of where you're coming from, historically and physically, within this lifetime especially. Like, whether you believe in reincarnation or this and that, but in how the energy of this reading is going, it's showing that this is a cycle after cycle after cycle energy that's needing to be healed. This is the year of knowing, this is the year of Aquarius, this is the year of once you know better, we do better. So this is the reason why the energies right now is probably so strong in people's circumstances. It's having to heal that generational pattern, the cycles, and balancing, living balance, or surpassing the balance of your foundation, moving past the foundation that you was given and the hands that you was dealt, understanding and learning the lessons and the generational pattern that's needed to be broken. And I see a pattern here with these readings. I mean, this is the second reading now, and it's strange because the first reading was Genesis. This reading now is referring to Exodus. There's a pattern here. There's something within the energy that I just tapped into. There's 100% something within the energy I'm tapping into. And so far what I'm getting from this is that This is a generational and cycle healing, historical healing from false doctrine, strict upbringings, conditioned way of living, example living, watching how fathers and forefathers and ancestors maybe heard and saw, treated the masculine or feminine energies that they were connected to, and that has adverse effects. With every action is going to have a reaction, and the reaction is what we're seeing today in today's society. Going back to when I was saying that I was trying to tap into the younger generation's energy is the reason why this whole season thing started for me. I feel as though this mature man is that air child energy that I picked up on in mature, open and honest communication. Young king, young queen. At the time I had no knowledge of what's going to come up here and what has come up since that reading. But what I am picking up on is that this mature man is in need of healing some kind of childhood trauma of abandonment, feeling under-nurtured. I felt black sheep energy, feeling isolated from everybody else, feeling very competitive. That's going back into the energies that I was picking up on today now. And it was like, the energies that I was definitely picking up on, this mature man is in, like I said, there's a lot going on for this mature man in his world, separately from what's going on in the mature woman's world. Separately. They're mirroring, but on opposite sides of the globe. He's in a place where there's not even any windows. Like, if you look at this card, there's not even any windows within this. There's knowledge, there's books, there's research, there's trying to understand what this is all about. There's even contemplations of looking where to go. Look at that globe right there. Somebody's looking into things. Somebody may even be going back historically, biblically, back into times, looking at their records of seeing where it is that where they come from, in order to where it is that you're going, 0 to 10. Nothing to fear but fear itself. Who feels it knows it. Somebody's feeling something that's made them, that's triggered them to look back. The energy I was picking up in the reading was, it's almost like someone's got a point to prove within the situation that they're going through, having to prove who they are. There was a lot coming out of it, especially when I went back and looked at the story of Moses, because it's relevant. So I had to refresh myself. I haven't refreshed myself on that story since I was a child, other than just small information that's come about whilst I've been going through my own spiritual awakening. But as for this mature woman now, she's still inside, she's still indoors. It's still an indoors energy where there's a need to get out. I'm going back to a thought that I had. There's some kind of years difference between this mature man and mature woman. I see the 5 to the 6, so there's some kind of somebody's. I'm not gonna say not on the same frequency, because this is a pair. Mature woman and mature man is a pair. But the 5 to the 6, it's like someone's just behind somebody in that awakening energy kind of feeling. In the isolation energy, somebody like this energy will soon reach the energy of opening the curtains. That kind of energy, but same frequency. This is the energy of the Empress in the previous series, where she needed to seek refuge. It's almost like she's now ready to open the curtains and get out. That grounded energy that she was needed to get. Yeah. And then I go back to the biblical story. Like when I was watching like the recap over the Moses story, I felt masculine energy all over this. I saw the similarity to even other readings that I've done, and the last reading that I did. I felt more masculine energy here, but I also felt feminine energy. I almost felt that mirroring effect again. So whatever this situation here is, and I'm going to date it back to the Moses time, because where you see baby, Egypt, and biblical, these are the cards that came out in the previous reading also, that's up on YouTube now. That mirroring reading that I put up, the last one it would be. When I do the dots together, align the stars, if you want to say, it brings me straight to the book of Moses, baby, Egypt, biblical. Then it brings me to the energy that I've been picking up on this mature man of abandonment, neglect, no nurture energy, feeling like the black sheep of the family, not knowing where they're coming from, and now researching where they're coming from. I picked up on the energy of somebody maybe even adopted, if not the black sheep of the family, but feeling like they're adopted and wanting to know the truth of where they come from. In the masculine energy, in the mature man's energy of this. Within this, I didn't really pick up too much of the mature woman, other than there's some relevance to this as well. And if I'm saying mirroring, I don't know. There's energy here. There's a lot to be brought out. Is the reason why I pulled back out my Greek cards again. And another deck here to see the energy, that's like to find out what is this karmic cycle that these two are attached to. Because within the last reading I did, there's a soul, there's a past love energy, a soulmate energy, a past life energy. So if not that they've known each other in this lifetime, because in the last reading there was a feel of they hadn't been acquainted yet, or there was very small communication between the mature man and the mature woman. But there's a strong energy or some kind of cycle, some kind of historical past life energy. It came up in yesterday's reading that I put up with these cards that came out, and the reading that weren't able to record today, it also came up. Not using these cards, just using another range of cards. So that's what's led me to do this reading here, simplifying it, just to break it down. I don't want to be too long on it, but then I just know how I read. Like if any of these readings resonate from the first reading that I started within this series of honest, mature communication, young king, young queen, trust me, go back and look at the story, go back and look at the untold story of Lilith, and also the story of the Sword in the Stone, King Arthur, that kind of era. Also, in order to pick up on the karmic energy that was within the first one, this is a family affair, the karmic energy there, look at the magician. I kind of had to pause and lost where I was, but I think I was talking back around the mirroring image, the similarity between the mature man and the mature woman, and the historical, biblical energies around the last series that I did of This is a Family Affair, Holy Trinity, Father, Mother and Child, that was one energy, that was like the Genesis energy. Like I said before, this is more now like the Exodus energy, but it's like a karmic cycle of a generational historical cycle, similar pattern, that era, this era. So the reading I want to do now is, obviously I want to tap into this era, what's going on within this era, but I also want to find out and see if I can tap into whatever the energy is, or the reflection to this time, this biblical time of Moses. Again, if this is going to resonate, or if the previous reading resonates with you, I believe the god in that one was Vulcan. I'll put a link in the comments below. I think there's a few different YouTube videos on him. But again, if there's any kind of similarity to to their stories or to that energy, then whatever this energy is the energy for you to keep on following into. Definitely, there was so much things that came up within the little clip that I watched, the refresh about Moses, like dates came up, even down to miles, like miles difference came up. Like this was intuitive message. Firstborn definitely came up. There was question around how come Pharaoh didn't die under the plague that the Most High set, and there was question, was Pharaoh the first child? There's energy around 7 and 13. That's the numbers I picked up. There was dates of it was around the Passover energy. So it was around the 27th of March and the 4th of April energy. That kind of the time 12 o'clock. That was the energy that came up. It's funny that it came up within the story of Moses, the plague. 12 o'clock, the Most High was gonna take the lives of the firstborn of the Egyptians. But in the reading that I did today, the one that didn't get recorded, there was an energy of 12 o'clock, that shock attack. The storytell card that I used signified an urgency of getting home after a night of pleasure or a time of pleasure before 12 o'clock because of this surveillance, this stalking energy, this shock attack energy, this warning or alibi energy. See, I'm going to pause the video there. So I'm going to break this down. I'm going to simplify it. I'm not going to make the video so long. So now I'm going to just go straight into this reading that I'm doing now. What I also forgot to say is that there was some kind of indifference between the mature man and the mature woman. And because with the mature man, the energy I picked up when I was going back over the Moses story, there was an energy of leaving for a number of years and then having to come back, having to prove yourself, and that's where that black sheep of the family kind of dropped into it, like that, having to compete with siblings or friends or other people around you kind of energy, and having to overdo it, overprove yourself. That was the masculine energy. Like I said, I didn't really pick up much on the mature woman's energy in regards to the reading that didn't get recorded, but there was definitely an energy of that. There was definitely an energy of wanting forgiveness from a mothering energy, and the mothering energy having to heal a relationship with their child, and not only with their child but their inner child. The inner child, the child that grew within that false doctrine, that strict upbringing, different culture, different lifestyle, different upbringing. That's the kind of energy that I picked up within the reading that didn't get recorded as well. So let's just see if anything comes up when I do the next one. I'm just about to jump into it now.